we talked about the Four Nations. 1980, you were at the Olympics for Canada. We all know the Miracle on Ice. I've never talked to somebody on the Canadian side about that experience. Can you walk me through what happened from Canada and being at the Olympics and that
There was
privilege,
one
but
bad
also
goal from center ice. Come on now, let's be
It
honest.
was it was an
and
icing.
then
Yeah, it was an
and
icing.
then the Miracle on Ice and having a front row seat to that and what that was like witnessing.
Well, it was a great, what a great experience. I was 20 years old at the time, and to have an opportunity to play for your country, what an opportunity. We're all a bunch of college kids. Most of us were called from college, and we had a good team. You're talking Glenn Anderson, Randy Gregg, Paul McLean, Tim Waters. We had a good team, and Kevin Maxwell. We had a good team. We played the Americans, played them probably 15 times, 16 times in the year. We had a little bit of an edge. We probably won 10 of those 16. So, but real close teams. They're the same way. They're college kids down in the U.S. And so we go to Lake Placid, and I always tell the story. Lake Placid, probably one of the last years of the small Olympics. Anybody that's been to Lake Placid, it's a small town of 2,800 people, and located in the Adirondack Mountains in the middle of nowhere. And so it was really probably the last of the small venues, but it was a great experience. We played the Russians just before the Americans played them. We lost 4-3. Probably should have won the game. We were in the same position as they were, and we lost 4-3. It was a heck of a game. Tretiak was in net. He ended up getting yanked against us, and that's why the other goalie played
Michigan.
against Michigan played against the U.S. is because Tretiak got yanked against us, and so I think they thought, and if you back up to the before the Olympics, the Russian team. Now that you're talking U.S. Russia government politics and all this stuff. It was they weren't friends. They go to MSG, play the Americans in MSG. I think they beat them about 10-1. It was just a
10-3
shellac.
was the 10-3 was the final.
10-3. The Russians just dominated. And this was a Russian team. You're talking Fetisov, Makarov, all these guys. You're talking big time team. And they were a machine. So they beat them 10-3, as you said. And everybody thought they're just going to run through it's going to be a gauntlet here that's going to run through the whole tournament. Well, all of a sudden we get up against them. We lose 4-3. Probably should have beat them. Had a good run. And then the Americans end up playing them and then win the game. Now, that wasn't for the gold. They still had to go beat some more teams and stuff to do it, but they did it. You mentioned about us. We were playing Finland. We had to beat Finland. If we beat Finland, we're into the medal round. And there was an icing, and there was a race for the puck. Our goalie came out to handle it and missed it, and it went in the net. And that knocked us out of the medal round. So it was tough to take, but great experience. We lived in a penitentiary. They built a penitentiary for the housing was going to be a new penitentiary. We lived in that, got to meet all the athletes and stuff. It was just a great experience. But another spin-off from this, and excuse me for rambling, I can get going here, is that what happened in 1980, probably for myself, probably isn't hockey in Dallas. I may not be a GM in Dallas right now. 1980, hockey wasn't even on the map.
Right.
It was nowhere, and especially in the U.S. It wasn't Canada, of course, but in the U.S. you had the original six teams. But other than that, hockey wasn't a big thing in the U.S. Well, here these young college kids knock off the big, powerful Russian team. Hockey, that became the story. It's still a story today, and it was really the coming out for hockey in the U.S. Between that and Wayne Gretzky going to L.A., that's the reason there's hockey now in Anaheim, Dallas, Florida, Tampa, Carolina, these cities. That really, probably a good thing the Americans won, because I wouldn't have a job probably here down in Dallas. There's probably no hockey in Dallas. And that really set up for hockey to take its grassroots in the U.S. And here we are today.